feel that Sona Lucian are going to come out pretty comfortably ahead unless they've been poked down significantly beforehand.
And it's always so hard to avoid an all-in if Sona really wants to force it, because all she has to do is like flash crescendo, or if you try and last hit something, crescendo Caitlyn, and that can be dodged if you have really phenomenal reactions. But if you're not ready for it, you're going to be in serious trouble. And if she's ready for you to try and dodge it, then of course she can always go with the E, get the power chord, and get the movement speed slow, and then chase you down, and then hit you with the crescendo. So yeah, very, very dangerous stuff post 6 there. But obviously, we'll have to see how the lanes shake out, and we'll also have to see actually whether they're able to get an advantage early.
Yep, so we have had the remake, as you can see right now, and that is going to be just firing through the picks, the bans once again. So nothing is going to come up here, Spud, that we haven't talked about before, really. It's kind of difficult to fill in this time at times, because on the live client, this seems to happen an awful lot, where we have a huge delay, and then we have a couple of placeholder picks, and then we're sat here like going over old ground.
Yeah, it does happen sometimes, unfortunately. I mean, there is a point I can note here in the form that Rain have picked themselves, assuming they go for a 2-on-1 into 3-on-1 into 4-on-0 setup. They have actually picked themselves a very, very good team for doing that, because Elise pushes extremely fast. Spiderlings will tank tower shots, which means it takes a lot longer to chew through the minion waves, and she has attack speed. And they have a Jax, who is actually very, very good at early tower pushes, assuming there's no one there to stop him, because he has attack speed built into his passive. So we may actually see Rain look to go for that play. We'll see though, because obviously there are methods of forcing straight lane matchups if you want to really go for that situation. You basically have to get early wards in though, which obviously precipitates an early invade. So we'll see what Denial choose to do in that respect.
Alrighty then, well, we do have a delay ticking down. As we said before, we are on the live clients at the moment, so we're going to have to wait for this delay. 3 minutes on the board, so we're going to quickly cut to a commercial break, and rejoin us will be live for the first game here in this best of 5 between Rain eSports and Denial. We'll be right back.
Transform. Transform your state of mind. enter this mystical world. Transform your state of mind. Transform your state of mind. State of mind.
Welcome back to the Challenger Face-Off here from Hitbox. I'll be jumping into the first game between Rain eSports and Denial EU. This has the makings of a pretty interesting game, Spud. I am going to be completely open and honest, though, from the beginning. Even though I'm giving mad props here to Rain eSports, I think a lot of people are expecting Denial to pretty much win this fairly comfortably.
Yeah, they are a very untried team. They're a team we haven't really seen that much from at this point. And I should probably just clarify, I'm currently stuck on the loading screen. I suspect you might actually be in the game.
I'm in, yep.
Yeah, well, cut me off if anything important happens at the level 1. But yeah, Denial eSports are a very, very strong team that we've seen quite a lot. Didn't manage to get into the LCS in the end, I believe, but... you know, they've certainly acquitted themselves very well in the Coke Challenger League and certainly have shown themselves to be capable of beating every single team in Europe. Whereas Rain, they lost to Unicorns of Love, who are themselves like a mid-tier, I'd say, Challenger team. I don't know if you'd agree.
I think that's fair. I think that's pretty fair overall. And as you say, they came runners-up in the I-Series final just a matter of, what was it, a few days ago, last weekend pretty much, so not too long ago. Probably feeling pretty good right now, but Denial EU are definitely going to be an uphill climb for them. They're trying to steal away this red buff, and indeed should be able to secure it as well, because Nutri, Blackjack, Chewed Up are all going to be around this area. They take down the red buff, but on the flip side, Kikis is doing the exact same thing. We're actually going to have 4 players at bot, so duo lanes are going to be doing just that at bot lane.
That's an interesting choice there. They have got the straight 2-on-2 matchup there. I am just loading back into the game again since I had to close it, and I think this is just because I was watching a YouTube video while it was loading, which is a terrible mistake sometimes. But you know, I should be able to get in, should be able to get it working. Hopefully, we won't have a repeat of last night anyway.
Well, yeah, I can only hope, because there's a lot of spectator issues. Glad that they seem to have cleared up. but you never quite know. Regardless, though, you haven't really missed a great deal here, Spud. Just both reds being taken, both actually counter taken, and both junglers just moving back to their own jungle. Both bot lanes are taking a bit of damage. Chewed Up and Blackjack are going in for the harass on Super Rays, but that inner flame missing, which could be pretty important. They're turning this one back around on Chewed Up. He eats an ignite. There's the instant exhaust, though, from Blackjack, and remember, this is level 2s v1s, and somehow Denial EU actually come out pretty well there.
Yeah, level 2 doesn't make you indestructible. Blackjack going in again.
He is. Nutri's round the side as well. It hasn't been spotted.
Oh.
There's the flash cocoon, but it will miss. That's a summoner expended for pretty much nothing at all from Elise.
Coordination screw up there, though. Karma was backing out at the moment where Elise was going in. And that is, that's costly. That will lose the flash. That will also mean now she's going to have to go back to her jungle and try and farm to catch up to where Kikis is, because he's going to hit level 4 if he wants to gank bot by going Wraiths and then going Golems and then going for the gank. And there's going to be the potential there for a kill, since there's very little warding right now from Rain.
Yep, that is a good point. Top lane, bit of harass right now. Baboonia is getting the upper hand on Roria, on Jax, and it's kind of expected that Baboonia's just going to be firing up those overloads. Has a very low cooldown, just 3 seconds. And Roria can't do a great deal about this. He just has to stand behind his minions, stand on his tower and take it.
Yeah, this is going to be one of the significant problems Rain has picked themselves into here is the top lane needs help early, but so does the bot lane. And the mid lane is going to go fairly neutral on its own. Speaking of bot lane, in fact, they are taking quite a bit of damage there and a gank in the mid lane. But basically, Rain have set themselves up where their lane matchups are going to be very difficult in top and their bottom lane. And it's going to be difficult as well, especially in bot lane, to help that lane. There's not a lot of crowd control to follow up on from.
And they're typically both top laners scale super hard going to late game as well, Spud. So in this case, you've got to say that Ryze is looking pretty good, and that's definitely going to attract Nutri to top lane, again whiffing with the cocoon. And doesn't have the flash, so has to repel back to his own creeps because here comes Kikis from the side, but nothing really going to happen.
That was a completely unforced error there, though, missing the cocoon. Just strange play.
It was just a miss. I mean, there was no dodging from Ryze, there was no flash expended, it was just a straight up miss. Chewed Up, though, is going to be trying to get some farm at bot lane. Saw him, he's flashing up red just a moment ago. Super Ace is taking a bit of punishment from Blackjack, but this is kind of what we're expecting at bot lane, Spud. There's a lot of poke and a lot of aggression, but not really enough to stick down a kill.
But when you've got two poke lanes going up against each other, the one with the sustain is going to come out on top. And remember, lifesteal quints were nerfed in the last patch, or the patch before that now, actually, come to think of it. And that does mean very few AD carries are running it now.
Ooh, another attempt at the top lane from Nutri. Cocoon this time landing on a creep, which blocked it out. Counter-Strike was also charged up from Warrior, but wasn't able to land. So lots of aggression from the junglers, but again, nothing's really being forced down, and they're not able to pick up kills. Still yet to score from either side at 6 minutes through.
Yeah, indeed. Although Xin has built himself up a pretty big farm advantage as compared to Elise. He's got himself about 10 creeps, and obviously jungle creeps are a little bit harder to get than the lane ones, so he's not doing too badly for himself. Expect to see him go for Feral Flare. That's what we're generally seeing, although that also did get nerfed in the last patch. Since it now takes even longer to farm up, you really need to spend a lot of time farming for it.
Oh wow, Digger going super aggressive, but the reason why I'm stuttering my words is because I'm just shocked. I don't really understand why he went for the shockwave there, because there's no chance that he was going to get a kill afterwards. He's got heal, he doesn't have ignite, and on top of that as well, you know, NIQ has got his wild growth, so there was no chance of a kill. And now that Elise is coming around from the side, this would have been perfect position for Digger to use his shockwave and to secure it right there.
Yeah, strange stuff. I think maybe Digger wanted to ultimate so that he could then look for an opportunity to recall, force Lulu to run away so he could clear the wave. He was running out of mana and Lulu still had a decent pool left. But still, yeah, strange play, and well, it didn't really work out for him, certainly.
Yeah, it's an ultimate that has it's just shy of 2 minute cooldowns, and it's not massive, but it's not too terrible either. Blackjack at bot lane is going to engage here, and he's actually coming out second best. However, the jungler coming around from the side, nice flash from Woolite, may be able to keep himself alive, and now they're changing their attention onto Super Rays, will be flashing away as well. They may not even secure a kill out of this one, although it looked pretty certain for a couple seconds. Really nice mechanical play from both of these bot laners. Will keep that first blood from happening, or will it? Because here comes Kickis from the side. Woolice ate a cocoon. That means there's no cocoon to save the AD carry right now. He's flashed away, but that's going to be first blood. Potentially get the second kill as well. Repel goes on up, but whatever comes up has to come down. And that is going to be the 2-0.
Well, I mean, Nutri that time did manage to land his cocoon. He was able to get into the right place at the right time as well. It was a really, really good ganking angle, but it was a very smart counterplay by Woolite to flash over that wall, get himself out. And I've got to criticize Nutri for chasing down Sona. He just doesn't have the damage, and no one else could chase past the minions because they were so low on health. So in the end, it didn't really come out in their favor.
Yeah, and this is both of those kills as well, where you look at where they fell. First to Xin, which is a super aggressive, scary, tanky jungler right now in the current meta, and the AD carry as well of Lucian, which will allow him to pick up that BF sword and come back into lane with a little bit more in terms of items. So across the board, that was pretty ominous from Rain eSports. They're not going to be looking forward to this. And in the meanwhile, Babunia is just constantly applying that pressure at the top lane. Look at that CS difference, 65 to 26 at top.
That's ugly. That's really ugly. And now Nutri is going to have another attempt, but he's got the cocoon angle.
He does, but nope.
Nope.
It's just
success rate naught.
That's not happening today, it seems. Babunia got his dancing shoes on and was able to just dodge out the way. Kikis comes to top, but no, it's just not going to happen. But every single one of these ganks that comes up and just doesn't work is Babunia getting more confidence. It's also allowing Lulu to get farm in mid. It's also allowing Woolite and Super Ace to apply that pressure at bot lane, and they're not getting anything back in return for it.
Yeah, this is one of the reasons that Elise has a very, very, very low win rate nowadays since she's been nerfed again, outside of the very few players who can play her extremely well, because you have to land Cocoon. You cannot afford to miss it, ever.
Yeah, definitely. Bot lane, just did see the culling fly out there. But do give me a shout if my mic's going a bit weird, because I can hear it crackling a tiny bit on my end, so I hope it's not going to end up breaking while we're casting. But yeah, culling went out there. We've had so many technical issues at this point, it wouldn't surprise me. But I'm just really hoping it doesn't happen. Either way, though.
No, what you say now is, how could that happen? We've had so many technical issues, that's not even possible.
True. It is possible, though, I guess. That's the sad thing.
I'm waiting. Murphy, come on. Oh well,
Murphy's
not
law.
yet. We're waiting on it. Anyway.
Ooh, top Warrior's going hard on Babunia. I'm not sure he wants this fight, though. He's a level behind, and Babunia is so big with all this farm. Catalyst, Blasting Wand, and also Tear of the Goddess, which is stacked up to 140 already. So, yeah, we just saw there pretty much firsthand. It's not looking good.
Yeah, that's really, really not looking good, because that was the only thing you can do. In a Jax versus Ryze, you either get poked or you all in him. Like that's what you can do, and he can't all in him now. He's not strong enough in a one-on-one at point-blank range to take this Ryze, because he's just too fed now. He's got too much farm over him. He's got, well, actually not that much experience, but he's really, really just so phenomenally strong.
Yeah, and it's only going to get worse because they're looking for the tower dive now. Ultimate was popped from Kikis, but Warrior was able to dart away with this leap strike. However, that's probably going to signify the end of this tower, or at least it's going to take a bunch of damage now. It should be going down. As we mentioned in previous casts, Xin is just so good at pushing towers.
Yeah, good call here by Rain, though. They are going to go straight for the dragon in return, and there is a small argument to be made that losing the top tower now isn't so bad, since it's going to get Jax out of this horrific matchup.
It's going to be Dragon going down, but now Nutri is taking a bunch of damage. There's the crescendo, will get the kill, and now they're turning their attention onto Babunia. There's the counter strike. Babunia could be going down, but double kill in the meanwhile from Woolite. He has to back away. This could be a triple kill, although he doesn't have too much mana remaining. Caitlyn fires off the ace in the hole to secure that kill on Lulu, and Warrior will just about get himself back to Sanctuary. So that was a couple kills, but the Dragon did go in the side of Rain eSports.
Yeah, so not as bad as it could have been there. They did trade the tower for the dragon, but the 2k gold difference has stayed roughly the same after that quick exchange of events. And as I said, it gets Jax out of that matchup, which was I think we can say without any undue criticism there, that was really awful for him right there. He is still absolutely miles behind. He could have arguably gotten more farm by jungling this game as Jax than just allowing that one-on-one to continue. And that's the penalty, unfortunately. If the Elise ganks fail, they do nothing. It's not like you harass him down so that then Jax can chase up and engage on it. Babunia was just free to go back to straight up zoning Jax out again.
Yeah, and it's that kind of stage as well where Jax needs items, and if you're not allowing him to even get to his creeps, he's not going to do anything in this game, Spud. And, you know, we up the late game Jax so much, but at the end of the day, that is definitely dependent on a few things, one of which is farm, one of which is kill participation, and so far, he's not really got either.
In the super long term, he can come out ahead. Nutri's going for this.
Oh, NIQ. There's the Cocoon. It has landed, and that should be a kill. In fact, there's the Wild Growth, though. 4 players batting him down. Nice, quick play from Rain eSports, and that has secured them the kill. They are looking for this tower as well, but the creep wave is way, way behind, so they may have to think twice about this one.
Nice, clever move, though. Getting that kill there is really, really good for them. They knew what Woolite was doing, and they knew what Babunia was doing, which was farming and farming, respectively. And they knew how to punish that, which was really, really smart. Now, Kickers may be caught, but they don't have the mana, they don't have the damage. Blackjack!
Oh, Blackjack could be going down. Here's the ace in the hole, though, from Caitlyn. They get the shutdown. That was an important kill as well, because it's going to go some way to pull Caitlyn back from that CS differential. And also put Lucian in his place, although he is looking pretty beefy right now. Kind of overextended and maybe feeling he was a bit stronger than he actually was.
Babunia is sticking to his guns, though. He is freezing this lane hard. He does not want, like, he's just trying right now to increase the gap between him and Jax to a level where it'll never, in any reasonable amount of time, be equalized. So he doesn't care that his team is losing out on kills there. Obviously, he doesn't want that to be happening. But if they could just play it carefully right now and disallow Rain the chance to get those picks that we just saw them getting, then it's going to be a play that worked out in the end for them. I just hit F12 and it like closed. What does F12 do in the spectator client?
I have no idea. I've never pressed F12 before. In fact, I don't think I've pressed any of the F keys.
It was really weird. It like froze for like 2 seconds and then just carried on.
What are you even doing near that part of your keyboard?
I didn't even mean to. I just gesture when I'm casting. Digger!
Crescendo's got down on Digger, but there's not enough follow-up damage. Here comes the shockwave once again. Cocoon lands on the minion. Scumbag minion coming to the rescue, and they do expend an ultimate there, but one apiece. And was the Wild Growth used? No, it was not. So NIQ is pretty safe right now. He's just going to keep farming.
One of the less helpful things about my setup for casting as well, apostrophe is my mic mute key, which is a problem when I then try and type to anyone or anything, because I unmute my mic halfway through. You may occasionally hear the clacking of keys. I have also been named Cement Fingers sometimes. But you know, going back to the game itself right now, Babunia is still freezing that top lane. That is quite a big farm advantage he's getting.
Oh, that's huge. That's 85 to be precise. So that's quite a bunch of kills. Equation from the gold. So it's pretty scary, I have to say, and it's not slowing down anytime soon because Jax has to go bot just to get himself some farm, and this is putting Caitlyn in a position probably doesn't want to be in, just staying in the mid lane and trying to stop this tower from falling.
Yeah, and I actually like the awareness here from Babunia now. He's unfrozen the lane. He did that deliberately because he saw Jax had finally found somewhere where he could safely get some farm. So he's now going to say, right, no, you're not getting any farm. Maximum way of denying Jax farm here is to push out and force someone to respond to that. Since that way, Jax, if he stays frozen in this bottom lane, is going to cause a serious problem with this pushing in the top lane. Because it's a 1 versus 0 in the top lane and a 4 versus 4 where they can't afford to send anyone to stop him. At the moment, though, Jax continuing to stay there. He may just TP up top. Or is he going to sacrifice the tower?
My league keeps freezing.
Oh, no.
EOS,
no.
Please, not again. Please.
No.
We beg of you. Because this happened yesterday in the first game we were able to cast. I got this very same thing a few times. Blackjack's been caught for no apparent reason. I wonder if the players are lagging too after that move, but he's going to go down. and now acing the hole out from on towards Kickers, I should say. Nutri's took a bunch of damage. Woolite's now the front line. Shockwave comes in and again just catches on one. There's not been the greatest Shockwave so far. And that is going to be Digger actually falling as a result from Woolite. There's the culling as well, is doing a bunch of damage, but stands on top of a ward. And the mid tower will be falling too. That was all without Rise. I have to mention that. Rise was not a part, and they still crushed the mid lane. In fact, they're going back in again. Warriors in no man's land, and he's going to get punished. Crescendo comes through. Chewed Up's going to fall as well, or will he because they heal? Yes, he will. Flash in from NIQ. What in the hell are Rain eSports doing?
They just didn't get that correct. They didn't account for the possibility they could be re-engaged on at the end there. Got stunned up, got chased down. It was very, very simple. And admittedly, in the start of that fight, Babunia wasn't there. Neither was Jax at that point. But, of course, the fact that Jax is so weak means he couldn't have really done anything if he was in the fight. But it also meant that he was losing damage on that top tower, which is now very, very low. And Babunia is going to stick up here. I'm not entirely sure if that's wise, but he should be able to get away. And he's scary.
He is very scary. Just chunked through the shield that Blackjack put on himself. And again, you're seeing that they have to draw a couple of players to top lane just to keep Babunia in place. This is going to allow everyone else to push elsewhere. So apparently the spectator mode broke on the Portuguese stream, so it's not looking good. Not looking too good. It's still working for me though on this stream. I assume that yours is still working, and so Spuds.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm just talking to my producer. I realised that I randomly started talking to myself. If you're watching this stream, like, wow, man, this is a bit crazy.
He says we've got a producer. I just play along. Fine.
Anyway, so right now, yeah, we're praying. We're kind of hoping that this is going to keep working for at least the first game, because Lord, oh Lord, we've had enough games aborted halfway through. Right now, though, not looking good for Rain in this game. Rain, obviously, at the moment, have been spotted out, and they're collapsing around, waiting for Nutri to do something here. NIQ can cut him off. And where was that stun aimed?
I don't even know.
You got a way to go with him,
what's going on? Warrior is taking so much damage just from Babunia. Look at all of that. He's able to turn it around somewhat with the cavalry firing in from Rain. But they couldn't really gallop on down because there was just too much threats to contend with. They know that Crescendo's nearly back off cooldown. They know that Wild Growth is as well. Blackjack caught out of position completely, not for the first time in this game. He's not going to fall just yet, but he has to pull himself back. He's not going to be any further part of this fight. Kickers comes down. There's the Wild Growth. Crescendo is available, but Super Race is not in position to use it right now. And IQ's going back in. Doesn't have a great deal of mana, but there's Babunia as well. Does get the Rune Prison. There's the Overload. There's a bunch of damage, but Digger manages to just about survive. Chewed Up is looking for the kill. Built to a Peacemaker. Looked like it went through NIQ there, so he can thank his lucky stars. And the tower falls in all the confusion.
Well, it may have been the League of Legends hitbox gods. Like, they're the ones that decide that Flay sometimes just does nothing. Now, that can actually happen with Thresh's Flay. There's been a bug now for several patches where sometimes it just does nothing. Like, it does the animation, goes through people, they don't take any damage, they don't get knocked up. Kicker's chasing Nutri. He's actually pretty low on health, but oh well.
Well, that sure is an IQ. That's going to be the kill. With both Super Rays and an IQ chipping in as well. So, doesn't look too good. There was a stage in this game for the first 10-15 minutes where it was very equal though, Spud. Other than the CS differential, across the board it was fairly even, but a couple of huge mistakes, of course, reign huge here in this game. Like, really just punished themselves, I have to say. Played themselves out of this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to emulate the words used by somebody in Hitbox chat right now. By the way, follow the channel. In the form of saying these shockwaves are really uninspiring. They really have been very uninspiring. I don't want to be that guy, but Digger right now has got to step up. He's got to land multi-man shockwaves. The skill doesn't do that much damage, and it's not that strong of a CC if it's only being used on one person, and they need something amazing to turn around these fights. Otherwise, they're just going to bleed out like this.
Completely agreed with you on both points there, that Digger's landed a couple shockwaves on one or two players that I haven't really understood. For example, going back to the first shockwave he actually used in the entire game when it went on NIQ just randomly, when they were both full hit points, when Wild Growth was still available. And then in team fights, he's often just hitting Lulu or Zin, which again is not a brilliant position to be in. Woolite has been caught here for no reason. but he's going to be okay. And in fact, they may very well re-engage. This could have been a bait from the very beginning here. There's the culling as well, and my game.
Oh no! No!
Really? Oh,
it's fine.
I came back. Apparently, kills happened.
Only one.
That would be weird if we just randomly came back and there's a pentakill for one of the 80 carries. Warrior is actually going to be smashing Babunia. He's reached that stage now where he has to be respected. And meanwhile, the rest of Denial is going to push through this mid.
I'm actually amazed that he reached that stage so quickly here, Warrior. I'm really, really shocked there. May have been that Rise was trying to kill the tower and ended up taking some free damage at the start, but Warrior's still going to have to get himself out of this.
He is. NIQ is not doing huge amounts of damage. There's a counter-strike, there's the flash, there's the leap strike as well. Bunch of things being used in close proximity, and he will be able to escape from this one. NIQ also used the shockwave for the stun, or the knock-up I should say. So it wasn't actually too badly played by Warrior.
No, indeed. He's doing a decent job in this matchup. It's just a horrible matchup.
Oh, going back in again. Shockwave again just lands on one player. Crescendo comes through, very nearly lands on all three, but actually just catches the side of Digger. And now you can see Woolite coming in with all of the damage. He's going to be popping in, gets his triple kill, looking for his quadra, and will probably secure it. Indeed, he does. Question is Warrior going to give him the penta? Looks like Woolite's hungry for this one. He's gone underneath the tower. He's been shielded up by Lulu. He's doing such a big amount of damage. He's
Denied!
The ultimate denial scumbag move from Rain eSports. No penta here.
Well, you got to give him some credit there. That was a stylish way to deny a penta with the surrender vote there. We should clarify just in case you hadn't picked up on that there. So well played there by Denial eSports, really taking it to Rain in very, very strong style there. So we are going to be able to get the next lobby up at the very least, and we will be able to cast Champion Select. Now, we're kind of hoping the spectator servers do function for the next couple of games. So, guys, don't go anywhere. We will be right back. The server may be on its last legs, though, so we'll keep you informed, basically.